Hey, this is Team 4, and we're doing the demo video for Release 2. So as you can see, these are all the use cases that we have to do for Release 2. And on the right side, we have the Mongo database. So before we start, I'm going to show the current database. As you can see, there's no database related to Release 2 available right now. And before we start the use cases, we need to create a new company, some moderators, and a queue so that we can show all the use cases. So for that, I'm going to use Postman now. And so I'm going to start by creating a new company. Okay, so I get the response back that it's successful. So if I go back to the database and I refresh, as you can see, now we have a new database. This is create your own queue. And inside there's a new customer called Emailgistics, right? And all the data we passed is right here. The same way, we're going to create a new moderator, and we need to pass the new company ID. So I'm going to copy it from here. And this is the company ID. And as you can see, I'm going to give this email ID for the moderator. So before that, again, when we sent the new company, you can see there was an email specified here as well. So we've also set up like a mail service, that is the notification. So when the company was created, you can see a link was provided for the admin, right? So I'm just going to delete this for now. And so when we create the moderator now, we should get another, yes, so it says successful. And over here, you can see with a new database is created with the company ID as the value. And inside that, you have a moderator. And since it's the same email ID, you should be getting a notification saying, okay, a new moderator is created with the link to his dashboard. And so that case is done. And all we need now is to create a new queue. And for that, we need to provide the company ID. And a valid moderator. So this is the valid moderator ID. Sending it. So it creates a new queue, and the admin ID is also passed. Okay, so yes, so as you can see, the new moderator is created, and the only thing that is left for us is to create a new queue. So we just need to specify the company ID and a valid moderator, which we get from here. So the moderator ID is correct, and we send, and you can see a new queue is created. And if you refresh, you can see for the company, there's a new collection queue with the new queue ID. So we have a company ready, a moderator ready, and a queue as well. And if you go to the mail again, you can see a new queue is created. So the admin gets the link to the new queue, and this is how he has to create tickets for the queue, right? So we have all the things that we needed and which we are actually did for release 1. So all those cases are ready. And so now we can start the use cases for release 2. So the first one we have to do is an administrator can edit the list of moderators in a queue so that the queue moderators can be assigned or removed. Okay, so in this case, the administrator can update the queue with more moderators or delete the moderators that is there right now. So as you can see here, we have a moderator value currently available here. And in the acceptance test, the first one is test for administrator tries to add a moderator for an invalid company. So should throw an exception stating the company does not exist. So for that, we go to Postman, we go to new moderator, and we give a wrong company ID. And if we send a mail, we should see, okay, no such company exists. So this case is successful. Okay, so this I'm giving green because it's successful. So the next test is administrator tries to add an invalid moderator to a queue. So for that, you can see through exception that moderator does not exist. So you can see that we have just one moderator. And if you go to Postman, we go to queue and we give an invalid moderator, right? And if you give send, you can see it says invalid moderator. So that case is done as well. So here, this is success. Okay. Okay, so the third one we need to test for is selecting an existing queue to add or remove moderators from it. So the expected outcome is the administrator will add or remove one or more moderators from the queue. Okay, so for that, at the moment, if you look at the database, we only have one moderator. So to show this case, I'm going to create one more moderator in Postman. So I'm going to create moderator. I'm going to call it moderator 1 because right now we have moderator 2. So moderator 1, the company ID, I'm going to create. So yeah, it's successful. Just to clarify, if you refresh, you have two moderators. So I'm going to copy this moderator ID. And so the test case is select an existing queue to add moderators. So for that in Postman, I'm going to update a queue and I'm going to give moderators. So we have the company ID. I'm going to give another moderator here. Moderator, and I'm going to give the new ID. And we have the old moderator, which has this ID. Okay, the company ID is here. And the queue ID. So the queue ID is 338, this one. Okay, and as you can see, we only have one moderator right now. So we're going to update it and we'll have two moderators. So, okay, and over here, if you refresh, as you can see, now we have two moderators. And since it was an update, it changed the name as well because you can see here the name is different. So it did all the updates and it added a new moderator. So this case is a success. And the last one for this use case is administrator tries to edit the list of moderators in a queue by adding or removing moderators in the UI. At the moment, we haven't finished the UI component, so this is going to be a fail. So I'm going to mark this as red. And since we missed one test case, the whole thing is going to be fail. Okay, so coming to the second use case now. An administrator can edit a moderator's details so that the moderator's relevant information is updated and available. So this is the update moderator case. So the first one is test for administrator tries to edit an invalid moderator. So going back to Postman, we have update a moderator and we have to give the correct company ID. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to give it here. Okay, so the case is invalid moderator. So as you can see now, we have an invalid moderator ID and we're going to test it out. And yes, we get the right response back. So this is fine. It's a success. Okay, the second one is administrator tries to edit a moderator for an invalid company. So we're going to set the ID correct so we can select any moderator. I'm going to select the first one and I'm going to give this fine and I'm going to give an invalid company ID. So yes, it says no such company exists, which means this case is success as well. Right. Oh, okay. So the third test is selecting moderators from the company to edit the details. Right. So in this case, we have to get the list of moderators, right? And after that, we have to edit. So the expected outcome is the administrator must be able to edit the details of the moderator successfully. So for that, first we're going to do get the moderators. So you can see here we have the moderator get, this should be the company ID, and this must be the moderator ID. So I'm going to give the right data here, gives company ID, and the moderator, I'm going to select the first one. So it's here, and I'm going to send. So you can see it returned the correct moderator details, and I'm going to update the name of the moderator. So I'm going to select this moderator ID. I'm going to go to update a moderator. I'm going to paste the moderator ID here, and I'm going to correct the company. It's 525. Okay. So now I'm going to change the name to new moderator name, right? And I'm going to send, and let's see in the database. If we refresh, you can see the name has changed. So we can change the moderator. The admin was able to change the moderator details. So this case is fine. So selecting the moderator, and it must be able to edit the details of the moderator successfully. So this is fine. And the last one is administrator tries to edit a moderator in UI. Again, unfortunately, we don't have the UI part completed, so this is a fail. I'm going to give it red, and the whole thing is considered fail. Okay, so the next use case is an administrator can edit the company details so that the company's relevant information is displayed to the clients. Okay, so the first test is administrator tries to edit an invalid company. You know that the company ID is this one, and we're going to give an invalid company ID. So update a company, and we're going to give so we can see it's already an invalid company ID. So if I give send, you can see no such company exists. So this one is fine. The next one is editing the details of a company. So administrator will edit the company details according to his efficiency. So in that case, we have to give the right company ID, and you can see this is the customer place. So this is the data we have right now. So what I'm going to change is I'm going to change the name from Emailgistics to Centennial. So I'm going to Postman. I'm here. I'm going to change the company ID. I'm going to change it to Centennial, and all the other stuff is fine. So I'm going to take these things out, and I'm going to change just the company ID. So if I come back here, I refresh, and I refresh, and you can see it's Centennial. So the value changed correctly. So that case is fine as well. So I'm going to give it. Okay, so the last test for this is administrator tries to edit a company's details on the UI. So we don't have this case right now, so it's going to be a fail as well. And again, overall, we're going to consider this as fail. Okay, so coming to the next one, an administrator can search for a queue so that all queues can be accessed. Okay, so this is a get queue case. So the first test is searching the company for invalid queues. So we go to Postman, we have get all queues in a company, and as you can see, we have to specify the company ID here, right? And oh, this case is searching. Okay, so the next use case is an administrator can search for a queue so that all queues can be accessed. Okay, so this is the get queue case. So the first test is searching the company for invalid queues. And the expected outcome is an exception is thrown when admin tries to search for an invalid queue. So you can see he gives an invalid queue ID and you get an error. So it's an admin. So we go to Postman. We have get a queue in a company for the admin. And as you can see, we have to pass the company ID and the queue ID. So in this case, I'm going to pass the right company ID, which is here, and I'm going to give a wrong queue ID. So we should be getting no such queue exist. So that is correct. And this is fine. Okay, so the next test is searching the company for queues. So in this case, we need to get all the queues for the company. And the expected outcome is the administrator will search a particular queue from the existing queues in the company. So he has to give a queue ID to get the correct queues. So we have to show all the queues first and then selecting one queue. So for that, I'm going here to see get all the queues in a company. I'm going to give the right company ID. And as you can see, since we only have one queue here, it returned this queue. And I'm going to select this queue ID and I'm going to give the correct queue ID here. And you can see it returned the correct queue details. So that case can be considered a success. So I'm going to update the report. Okay, and the next case is administrator tries to search for a queue from the search page on the UI. Unfortunately, we don't have the UI part ready at the moment, so we can show this in Postman, but without the UI. So the expected outcome is administrator must be able to get the search queue as a result of the UI. So since we only have one queue, as you can see, I'm going to with a different name. Let's say hello queue, and I'm going to save it. Oh, invalid moderator. So I'm going to give a valid moderator detail. Oh, actually, I'm going to use the second one because we already have a moderator in one queue. Okay. Okay, so I gave the correct moderator and I'm going to create a new queue. And it's successful. Over here, you can see a new queue is created. So this one is called Hello Queue, and this is Sentinel registration queue. So for the search, we have to search Postman open. We have search for a queue within a company, right? And what we're going to search for, as you can see, we have Sentinel. So I'm going to take this keyword. Okay, I'm going to put Sentinel here. I'm going to give the correct company ID. And it should give me the data. So it passed me Sentinel back. And just to make sure it works, you can see that both the queue has the name hello space queue and Sentinel space registration. So I can give simply a space to make sure it works. And you can see both are returned. So you can search according to a keyword. So that case is done, but unfortunately we cannot show this in the UI. So we're going to put this as a fail. Okay, so overall, again, because of the UI missing, we're going to give this as fail. Coming to the next one, an administrator can search for a queue so that all queues can be accessed. Pause, bro. Pause. Oh, pause again. Sorry. Okay, so the next case is an end user can create a ticket for a queue through a link provided. So at the moment, since we don't have the UI part done, we don't have the link to actually do the registration to the queue. To create the ticket, but what we can show is we can show it in Postman. So the test is create a ticket as an end user, and the expected outcome is the end user should be able to get a notification with the link. So for that, again, in Postman, we have create a new ticket. And as you can see, it is /user, so it's an end user who's doing it. And these are the data we are passing at the moment. And we're going to give the email as the same one that we have for all the test cases. The company ID, I'm going to give the right company ID. And I'm going to select one queue out of these two. I'm going to select the first one. Okay, and I'm going to give it as the queue ID. And I'm going to send it. And you can see now if I refresh, there should be a ticket collection. And this is the ticket details we gave. And the status is waiting because he's waiting for the queue, right, to get his ticket done. So by default, we set the status as waiting when he creates a ticket. And you can see this is the email that we provided. So we should be getting an email here saying the new ticket is created. And as you can see, this is the information to get the queue details, right? And I'm going to delete that for now. And I'm going to have the database ready. So again, since we did not have a link, we're going to set this as a failure, even though we could show it in Postman. And so overall, this again fails. Okay, so the test is for click on the ticket link received after registering to a queue. And the expected outcome is the link must open a web page with the user's place in the queue. So unfortunately, we don't have the UI part set for this as well, but we can show it in Postman. So the case is to get the position in the queue. So as you can see here, we have just one ticket, and I'm going to select the ticket ID, and I'm going to try it in Postman. So I'm going to get okay, so get the queue position of a ticket. So as you can see here, I need to pass the queue ID and the ticket ID. So I'm going to give the correct ticket ID. I'm going to select the correct company ID here. And I'm going to select the queue ID. Oh, I can even take it from here. We have the queue details here. So I'm going to put it in here. And as you can see, the response is 1, which means he's next in line. So we can even create another ticket just to show it working. So I have the values here. I'm going to send it again. So we have 2 tickets now, and I'm going to give the second ticket ID, and it should be giving me a response too. So I'm going to come back here, queue position. I'm going to change the ticket ID. It should be giving me 2. So this case is done, but unfortunately we didn't use the link. So I'm going to consider this as a failure. And overall, it's a failure as well. Now, so the next case is an end user can cancel their place in the queue. So the test is cancel a ticket in a queue. Expected outcome is the ticket must be deleted and the user must get a notification by email. So if you look at our account right now, it's empty. And okay, must get a notification by email. So again, we're going to show this in Postman, and we can select one ticket. So I'm selecting the first ticket here, and in Postman, I'm going to delete a ticket. So in this case, what we do is we change the status from waiting to canceled, right? And I'm going to give the ticket ID, but as you can see here, because it's the next person waiting in line, we do not allow them to delete a ticket at this moment. So it should give you a response saying you're next in queue. So this is fine. And so we're going to take the next person. So here it should give you deleted. And if you refresh, we can see its status is canceled. And we should be getting a mail here, okay, saying user, this ticket has been deleted. And you can see this is the same ticket ID. So that case is done. And It must be deleted, and yes, so this is fine. And this use case is success as well. Okay, the next one, a moderator can view the list of queues they moderate. Okay, so the test flow is view the queues that the moderator moderates. Okay, and the expected outcome is the moderator must be able to view the list of queues they are serving. So again, like you can see in the database here, we have moderators for this queue and this queue as well. So what we have to give is the moderator ID, and we should get the queue where he's a part of. And so in Postman, we're going to go to get all queues where a moderator is part of, and we're going to give the correct company ID. Oh, sorry, that should be here. This is the company ID, and this is the moderator ID. So I'm going to give, for the first one, I'm going to give this guy here. And let's see. So you can see it gave me, yes, the response for the queue, and it shows me, yeah, this guy is a part of the queue. And the next moderator, as you can see, has 2 queues. So if I give this as the moderator ID, I should be getting 2 queues. So yes, both of them are returned. So you can see the moderator gets all the queues which he is a part of. So again, this case is a success. So, oh, okay. Now, the next one is a moderator. Okay, so this case is a success, and we're considering this use case as done. So coming to the next one, a moderator can view the list of end users currently waiting in a queue. Okay, so for this, the testers click on the queue link received when assigned as a moderator to a particular queue. And the expected outcome is the link should bring the queue information, including the registered users. So unfortunately, we don't have the UI for this now, but we can show it in Postman. So the test again is a moderator can view the list of users currently waiting in a queue. So for that, we need to get the list of waiting tickets for a queue. And we need to pass the company ID, we need to pass the queue ID, and we need to pass which moderator is actually trying to make this request. So let's say it's the first moderator who's trying to get this information. So now we should be getting yes. So as you can see here in the ticket, even though we have 2, because we deleted the second one, the status is canceled. It only gives you 1 person is waiting, right? So we could even test it by adding a new ticket here again. So if we refresh, we have 3 tickets now, and there is 2 waiting. So if we go back here, we should be getting 2 queues. So as you can see, 2 tickets are returned, and that means it's working correctly. But unfortunately, since we did not have the queue link, this has to be considered a failed test. So overall, it is failed. The next one is a moderator can view an end user's information as filled out in the registration form. The test is view the end user details as filled in the registration form. Expected outcome is the moderator must be able to view all the details of the end user. So as again, we don't have the UI for this, but we can show it in Postman. So at the moment, you can see the only information of the user we took is his email. So we just have to return the ticket information. So over here, we can give the right ticket, And as you can see, the status is cancelled. If I go for another valid ticket, it should give me that status as well. And yeah, so we can get all the user information here, but there's only one information we are storing right now, that's the email. So this case is done, but again, we didn't use the registration form, so I'm gonna mark this as failed. The next one is a moderator can call the next end user in line to be served. So the test is calling the next person in the queue. The expected outcome is the notification must be sent to the next person called in the view. Okay, so we can show the moderator asking for the next ticket. So over here, if we refresh, you can see we have the next person waiting is this guy, and we have one more person here. So what happens is we should be getting two notifications because both of them have the same email. And I can show the test now. So it's get next person. Okay, so get the next ticket. We need to pass the company ID in the body parameter, and we need to pass which queue it is and which is the moderator trying to do it. So here in this ticket, we have QID here. This is the QID. This is the company ID. And the moderator who's trying to do it is here. I'm going to select the second one. So this is the moderator and send. Okay, so you can see it says successfully added the ticket. And if we come back here, you can see the status is now active for the one. And there's one person waiting. So this is the next person that is waiting. So like I said before, both of them have the same email ID. So if you go back here, you can see there are two messages that came in recently. And the first one is active user that says, okay, the next person is active and you can go to this particular queue. And for the person who's waiting, we got saying, okay, this ticket, your ticket is next and you have to get ready. So that case is done. Notification must be sent. So the only case we missed here is it should be in the view, but since we showed it in the email, I'm going to consider this as a success. So overall, this is a success. Now the next one is a moderator can add notes to an end user's ticket. So the test is add notes to the user's ticket, expected outcome. The moderator must be able to add notes to the ticket being served, and the details of the ticket must get updated. So for this, what we're going to show in Postman is we're going to close a ticket which is currently active, and we are going to add a feedback so we can see that it is updated. And as you can see here, the ticket that is currently active is this one. So I'm going to select this ID and I'm going to go to close a ticket. So we close the ticket. You can see I'm going to give the correct ticket ID here, and the company ID has to be updated, and the moderator ID. So the moderator we selected is this guy. So as you can see here, it has a served by parameter which shows which moderator has the right to close the ticket. So I'm going to give the right moderator here, and the feedback is this ticket is complete. And I'm going to submit this. Okay, and if you come back here and if I do a refresh, you can see it says status is done and the feedback is this ticket is complete. So this part is done now. And as you can see, like we also have a case. So since we already closed it, if we try again, it says the ticket is not active at the moment. So it takes care of that case as well. So this add nodes is a success. And I'm gonna market success. So the whole use case is success. Coming to the next one, a moderator can view the details of a queue. The test is view the details of the queue, expected outcome. The moderator must be able to view the details of the queue. So that is get queue details. So it's okay. So you can see here, get the queue in a company for the moderator. And we're going to pass the right details here. So we need to give company ID, the queue ID, this is the queue ID, and we need to give a moderator, which I'm going to select this guy here. Okay. So you can see it returned the queue details. So this can be considered a success. So this is a success, and overall it's a success. Okay, so the next one is a moderator can finalize a queue to close the registration. So this case is testing to close the queue, and the expected outcome is the moderator must be able to close the queue so that no more tickets are registered. So there are two cases we need to show here. One is the ticket is closed, and the second is that no new tickets can be created. So again, I'm going to show this in Postman. So the first case I'm going to show is closing the queue. So okay, so for that we need to update a queue, and here we have let's say a moderator stuff is there. I'm going to give correct details. So company ID is fine, queue ID is this one here, which is where all the tickets are. Okay, that's fine. Name is fine, moderators are okay. I'm just going to add status as inactive. Okay, and I'm going to do the request, and you can see it says success. So if I go to the queue, you can see now the status is inactive, and the ticket now should be like this. Okay, so the first part is fine. The queue is now inactive. So the second part of the test is close the queue so that no more tickets are registered. So we're going to try creating a new ticket for the queue that we just made inactive. So you can see it's the same queue ID, and I'm going to try to create a queue, and it says, sorry, the queue is closed at the moment. So we can consider this case as a success. So just to show it working again, I can change the status to active, and it should create a new ticket, which to show that it works. I'm going to update this. I'm going to do the same thing again. You can see it created. So it shows that once it's closed, you cannot create a ticket. So I'm going to consider this as a success as well. So